사람들에겐 한국의 소중한 문화유산이라 할 수 있죠. 한국 바로 알리기 여러분도 함께 해주세요.
여러분 반갑습니다. I'm Kwon-sowa and this is K-Culture Dive. Join us in taking a deep dive into the heart of Korean culture, from K-entertainment to AI news and the latest in K-sports today. And with that, let's dive in. Joining us on today's show is Bella Kim. Hello, Bella.
Hi, Soa, and hello to our K-Culture Dive viewers. I'm Bella Kim, back again to co-host and fill you all in with some exciting K-entertainment news focused on K-pop boy groups today.
Okay, so let's kick off with K-Enter News then, Bella. There's a word that's making a buzz these days, 영크크. Now, for our international viewers from many different nations and different generations, could you please enlighten us on what 영크크 actually means?
Yes, of course. So, well, it's a short for Young Creator Crew, 영크크. And we use it to praise people who have a youthful, trendy, and effortlessly cool vibes. This phrase is actually from CORTIS' latest track, Young Creator Crew.
Right. Now, I'm going to do my efforts to be a young kuku and not a 늙kuku or old kuku.
Which is the vice versa.
Exactly. But Bella, there must be a reason for why you're mentioning young kuku and CORTIS.
Yes, of course. Young Kuku group CORTIS continued to break record after record. According to Big Hit Music, the group's hit song REDRED topped Spotify Korea's daily top songs chart for the 70th time. This is a new record for the most days at #1 by a single song from a K-pop group on Spotify Korea. After first topping the chart in April, REDRED has maintained its popularity, extending its winning streak with another milestone. This song has also remained at #1 on Spotify Korea's weekly top songs chart for 11 consecutive weeks, setting another record by topping the chart for more weeks than any other K-pop group.
Incredible how fast they are growing.
Yes.
But let's move on to another boy group. As you mentioned, we're focusing on boy groups today. And one of the members of TXT is doing great with a new release.
Yes, Tomorrow by Together member Yeonjun is off to a strong start with his latest solo release. The music video for the new title track, Ice Cream, surpassed 10 million views on YouTube just 3 days after its release. The music video, set against the stunning background of Prague, captures the moments or emotions of a man and a woman who are drawn to each other but struggle to express their true feelings. It has attracted global attention with its cinematic visuals and captivating choreography, ranking on YouTube's daily trending music charts and entering popular music video charts in 19 countries and regions.
And the song itself and the album are also doing great, I hear. So what are the charts telling us?
Yes, well, first, Ice Cream topped Bug's daily chart for 3 days in a row and ranked #3 on Line Music's Top 100 Songs chart as well. The album has also set a new personal sales record as it topped Hanta's weekly album chart after posting record-breaking first-week sales. These achievements highlight Yeonjun's growing popularity as a solo artist in the global music scene.
And the final boy group today, let's end with some good news for 17 fans.
Yes, 17 will continue their journey together as one group. All 13 members have agreed to renew their contracts with Platis Entertainment for the second time. They have never been apart from each other since their debut. All members, except for those currently serving in the military, have already signed their new contracts, while the enlisted members will complete the renewal process according to their military service schedules. 17 said they are happy to share the news with their fans who are carrots and believe that there's nothing that they can achieve as long as all 13 members stay together. And they also expressed their hope that the fans would join them on their journey toward forever. Platis Entertainment said it will continue to support not only 17's group activities, but also the members' unit and solo projects as well.
It sounds like 17 and Carrots, their fans, can look forward to many, many more years together.
Yes.
And thank you very much, Bella, for those updates, and stick around.
Will do.
All right, time now to go over to our AI anchor Arirang for more on the culture front. Arirang.
Thanks, Swa. Here's your AI guide to the latest cultural headlines from Korea. Let's begin with our top story. Korean was selected as the guest language at this year's Avignon Festival, one of the world's leading performing arts festivals, with Nobel laureate Hangang invited as a featured guest. The event was designed to mark the 140th anniversary of diplomatic ties between Korea and France. In her first public appearance since winning the 2024 Nobel Prize in Literature, Han joined a conversation with the audience, where she responded to those who view her as a political writer. She said that there is no dividing line between political writing and introspective writing, and that the personal and the political cannot be separated. Han also read a passage from her novel We Do Not Part and greeted readers at an impromptu book signing. 3 of South Korea's UNESCO World Heritage Sites, Jongmyo Shrine, Changdeokgung Palace, and the royal tombs of the Joseon Dynasty, are offering free admission to mark Korea's hosting of this year's UNESCO World Heritage Committee meeting. Changdeokgung Palace and the royal tombs began offering free admission on Monday, while Jongmyo Shrine opened its gates for free starting today. The free admission runs through Sunday, July 19th. Jongmyo Shrine was inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage List in 1995, Changdeokgung Palace in 1997, and the royal tombs of the Joseon Dynasty in 2009. The 48th session of the UNESCO World Heritage Committee will be held in Busan from Sunday through July 29th. Fueled by the global popularity of K-culture, interest in Korea's traditional heritage is also on the rise, boosting sales of cultural products. According to the Korea Heritage Agency, sales of its cultural goods brand, K-Heritage, surpassed 9 billion won, or more than $6.1 million in the first half of this year. That's up nearly 50% from a year earlier. Best-selling items included fans and handkerchiefs featuring the Irorobongdo, or the sun, moon and 5 peaks folding screen, and wine stoppers inspired by Royal Joseon motifs, as well as the agency's popular palace perfume collection. That's all from me. Turning now to a quick look at more K-culture stories making headlines today.
Temple stays are one of Korea's most unique cultural experiences. But one Buddhist temple is offering more than prayers and peace. It's helping singles find lifelong partners. Our Hong Seo-jung shows us how.
With their hearts fluttering with anticipation, participants one by one slowly make their way into the temple. 10 men and 10 women have gathered here, each hoping to find the one.
워크홀릭이라고 많이 해주시는데 여기서는 사랑을 찾아서 러브홀릭으로 나가고 싶습니다. 감사합니다.
After briefly introducing themselves using their chosen nicknames, the participants showcase their talents to win over potential partners. They are then randomly paired up for a stroll through the temple grounds. By sheer coincidence, some participants are matched with the same partner 3 times in a row.
As we keep talking, we gradually get to know each other better.
Surprisingly, this matchmaking program is taking place at the Naksansa Temple in Yangyang in Gangwon-do Province. Drawing more than 4,000 applicants, the program was first launched as part of a public awareness initiative to address Korea's low birth rate.
Naksansa Temple has long been regarded as a place where wishes come true and meaningful connections begin. We hope the time spent here will lead each participant to a special encounter and a lasting bond.
Following the rules of the temple stay, the participants change into Buddhist robes and share a traditional temple meal.
The calm, traditional atmosphere here naturally makes me slow down and approach things with a more grounded and composed attitude.
They also take part in a date where one person is blindfolded while the other guides them through the temple grounds. Relying on each other every step of the way, they gradually get to know one another better and grow closer. Against the backdrop of the sea, a tea session builds a romantic atmosphere where conversations naturally deepen. The program continues the next day after a nighttime date with the participants of their choice. The poses may be challenging, but the pain seems easier to bear when they're with someone they have taken a liking to. After spending 2 days and 1 evening together, the moment of truth has arrived, resulting in 5 new couples.
Even as marriage becomes increasingly difficult in today's society, love still finds a way. Hong Seo-jung, Arirang News, Yangyang.
When summer hits Korea, there's one iconic dish Koreans can't go without. A steaming bowl of samgyetang, a whole chicken simmered with herbs. Hot soup on one of the hottest days of the year? It may sound counterintuitive, but there's a reason behind it. Eating hot food makes you sweat, and as that sweat evaporates, it helps cool your body. It's also believed to restore energy and warm a stomach that's been overloaded with cold foods during the summer. Samgyetang takes center stage on Chobok, Chungbok, and Malbok, the 3 hottest days of the year on Korea's traditional calendar. But have you ever wondered, why chicken? Why not pork or beef? The answer is surprisingly simple. Unlike cattle or pigs, chickens were small enough for families to raise in their own backyards. For a hearty summer meal, chicken was the easiest and most affordable choice. That's how peksuk, a whole chicken slowly simmered until tender, became a seasonal favorite. But it wasn't quite the samgyetang we know today. One key ingredient was missing: ginseng. Centuries ago, ginseng was a rare and costly medicinal herb that only the wealthy could afford. Adding it to peksuk was a luxury few could enjoy. That changed as ginseng cultivation expanded. As it became more affordable and widely available, people began adding it to peksuk, giving rise to modern-day samgyetang. What was once a nourishing dish for the privileged gradually became Korea's signature summer comfort food. Even today, as Chobok approaches, people line up for a steaming bowl of samgyetang. More than just comfort food, samgyetang carries generations of Korean wisdom on how to beat the summer heat.
And why don't we beat the summer heat with some regular K-Sports updates? And for that, we are joined in the studio by our sportscaster, Jason Lee. Welcome back, Jason.
Hi, Jason.
Hello.
Okay, Jason, last time you gave us a preview of the KBO's All-Star Game, which happened on the weekend. But what else is making headlines in the world of sports?
Okay, remember this, that the week in sports is themed with green today. And I'll tell you why, because yes, the KBO's All-Star Game took place, but you could say that the KBO this week was actually upstaged by a pair of Korean golfers who both won tournaments in the PGA and LPGA respectively. Also, Go Suk made his major league debut with some ups and downs. I said that that was coming in the future, and it did happen, and I'll get some details on that as well.
Okay, so where do we start? Golf, baseball, golf, what's the bigger news?
You know, they're both big stories, but I think the golf news was probably a little bit more unexpected, so let's start with that. You know, it isn't the first time that this has ever happened, but it is the first time since 2021 that Koreans swept both the PGA Tour and LPGA Tour with victories on the same weekend. And actually, you know what's even more rare, that they did it both on the same calendar day. Let's start with the LPGA with Yoo Hae-han. She actually took her second straight LPGA major as she claimed the Evian Championship in France just 2 weeks after winning the Ladies PGA Championship. How hot is she? You shot a major record 11 under 60 in the third round for a 3-stroke lead going into the final day. So hey, should have been smooth sailing all the way, right? Wrong. Canadian Brooke Henderson eagled the par 5 7th. And then she made a hole-in-one on the very next hole to suddenly put her into the hunt. The two golfers both ended 19 under for the tournament, but Yoo Hae-han birdied a playoff hole to take the $1.4 million top prize. And she is now third in terms of the overall rankings as she sneaks ahead of Kim Hyo-ju, who drops down to fourth. As the second Korean in the top 4 rankings as well. And remember that the next major is coming on the 30th of this month. That is the Women's Open in England, where Yoo Hae-han is going to go for a 3rd straight major championship. But perhaps, remember, Park In-bi captured 3 straight majors back in 2013. I'm sure she's going to be watching very closely with a lot of interest, but a very historic run so far for Yuedan. Maybe she'll add to it as well.
Definitely. And I remember Yuedan saying in an interview that at the press conference before the tournament, she said that all I want to do is play on the weekend. That's it. And now the second major in 2 weeks. Wow.
Yeah, maybe 3. We'll see.
Maybe 3, yes.
We'll see.
We'll definitely keep an eye on it as well. So you did mention that Korean swept both LPGA and PGA.
Yeah.
So which Korean swept or won this weekend at PGA?
Another hot Korean golfer as of late. You know, it's a name that we've been talking about recently. You might remember last month I mentioned that Tom Kim, also known as Kim Joo-hyung, finished 3rd at the U.S. Open. Now, this time he won his first PGA title since 2023 thanks to a 6-under 64 on the final round. That matched the low round of the tournament, and it left him 17 under for a 2-stroke win over Australia's Lee Min-woo. Now, Kim Si-woo also ended with another top 10 finish, placing in 9th at 11 under. Next week is the British Open, so hey, you know, it's great to see all these Koreans playing really well going into the final major of the year. And I might also note that Tom Kim, with that victory, that vaults his ranking up to 33rd right now on the season. So both him and Kim Si-woo doing really well. And again, we got another major coming up for the men, so good to see them playing hot right now.
So much hot news in the world of golf and for Korean golf players. And now let's shift over to the KBO's All-Star Game. So what were some of the biggest highlights?
Oh, there's all sorts of highlights, but you know, the big story, of course, well, kind of, the Nanun team destroyed the Dream Team 10-2, kind of, because yeah, actually, who really cares about the score when it comes to All-Star games in Korea? It's pretty much the least important thing. So let's get to what has become the bigger highlights. Of course, it's the player costumes. You know, before their first appearance on the mound or at the plate, KBO players will participate in some cosplay to entertain the fans. And hey, there were some fun ones this year. LG's Austin Dreen dressing up as a cowboy and then later reappearing in a Korean hanbok as well. Lotte's outfielder Hwang Sung-bin, always known to go all out for All-Star games. This time he showed up as a muzzled dog on a leash. Hanwha outfielder Moon Hyun-bin dressed up as the Mona Lisa painting. And probably my favorite was watching Ryu Hyun-jin enter the game as a goat, or I guess you could say the goat, however you want to interpret it. And I found this kind of interesting, you know, and the announcers were saying this as well. Okay, like you got Ryu Hyun-jin out there as a goat. Is that because he thinks that he is the goat of KBO pitching? And kind of thought to myself, I don't know if you could say definitively that he is the goat. I think he's certainly on the Mount Rushmore, along with Chano Park or Park Chano, Choi Dong-won, and Son Dong-yeol, probably, you know, the 4 big names of KBO or Korean pitching. But interesting to see him dressed up as a goat to kind of bring up the conversation at the very least. And interestingly enough, Ryu Hyun-jin was actually named the top pitcher in the All-Star game as he tossed a scoreless inning in relief. And also, fellow Hanwha Eagles players Ho In-seo and Moon Hyun-bin won MVP and Outstanding Hitter, respectively. Both of them were 4 for 5 at the plate in the game. Certainly a very big day for Hanwha.
Those dress-ups are definitely fans' favorites. And I love how they kind of reflect on the memes that's going on, very popular these days.
Yeah.
One of my favorite was 자려고 누웠는데 양이지. Yes. And also one of our favorite meme, which was 네가 좋아. That was also there as well.
Right.
So definitely fans enjoyed it. Another event that everyone actually looks forward to at the All-Star weekend is the Home Run Derby and also Futures game, which is one of the matches that you also looked forward to. So how was that?
Absolutely. Always a lot of fun once again. You know, it was a big day on the day before as well with the Home Run Derby. The big story to start things off, unfortunately, was that Austin Dean would not be participating. He had tweaked his back and didn't want to make it worse by participating in the competition. So he was actually replaced by SSG's Oh Tae-gon. And for the rules going into the Home Run Derby, the KBO version, is that players are allowed as many home runs as possible before recording 5 outs. And that would then be followed by a 1-minute fever time of just hitting as many long balls as possible against the clock to add to the total. And Oh Tae-gon and Hanwha's Kang Baek-ho reached the finals. They hit 7 each in the preliminary round, and then Kang Baek-ho would go on to win the sudden death round after they were still tied in the finals. So congratulations to Kang Baek-ho for winning the Home Run Derby. And I'll quickly also mention that Kang Baek-ho is going to be a player that Major League Baseball fans should keep an eye on, because I think there's a very distinct possibility that he ends up playing in Major League Baseball next year, perhaps the year after. He was actually eligible to be posted going into this season. I think he realized that he didn't have the best season last year, so he didn't try to get posted. But I think it is on his mind somewhere. He's a former Rookie of the Year, a very big Batman in the KBO, and I think it's a very distinct possibility that he could be a major leaguer in the near future. Speaking of future, as for the futures game, the Southern All-Stars blanked the Northern team 4-0. Ham-soo-ho and Shin Jae-in hit home runs for the winners, while Naga Taesei was named the top pitcher in that game.
Okay, and before we move on, Jason, just an impromptu question. As we are now just halfway through the KBO this season, who do you think is the GOAT, or maybe currently the best player to, watch out for in the rest of the games?
Okay, so the MVP race right now is probably between Austin Dean as well as Kim Do-young. And Kim Do-young, of course, he was the MVP a couple of seasons ago. Austin Dean, the big first base slugger for the LG Twins. They're both up there in every statistical category, whether it be home runs, batting average, on-base percentage, slugging. Dean, I would say, has the slight lead. He's got a better average. I think they're tied in home runs at 27, but certainly both players to be watching for. And speaking of guys that could end up in the major leagues next year, I think Austin Dean, the way that he's been going as a foreigner, he might be one of those guys that could, make an impact for a major league team next year as well. So, I know with Korean teams, it's one thing when you have a foreign player do really, really well, but you almost don't want him to do too well because that could mean losing him to a major league contract the year after, like Cody Ponce last year, Eric Fetty the year before that. So, they're getting great contributions from him, but we'll see what happens next year for Austin Dean.
Okay, and speaking of the major leagues, Jason, sticking with baseball, you recently mentioned we should expect to see Ko Woo-seok debut in the majors soon, and he did finally make his MLB debut for not the LG Twins, the Minnesota Twins.
The Minnesota Twins, absolutely. And yeah, he made his debut on July 9th as he entered a game against the Cleveland Guardians in the 9th inning of a game that they were losing 4-2. Now, he ended up giving up a solo home run to Patrick Bailey in the game, but otherwise, he completed an inning of work, with that being his only blemish. Now, he then got into a game just 2 days later on the 11th, and this game caught my eye because he entered the game in the 8th inning against the Angels with his Twins leading 5-3. So Ko allowed a hit and a walk, but he did manage to complete a scoreless inning, which meant that he received his first major league hold. And it was basically a setup role. The Twins currently do have Yoendry Gomez as their closer right now, and he did record his 11th save of the season in that game. But he's far from being a lock to hold that role for the season. So as I've said before, I'm going to say it again, that it's very possible that if Ko Woo-seok continues the way he's been pitching in the minors at the major league level, there is plenty of room for his to improve his responsibility with the Twins. And remember, he's going to be a 28-year-old free agent going into next season. So if he can put together a good second half, maybe close a few games, get a lot of holds, keep the ERA down, you know what that could mean? That he could be seeing a lot of next year. he could be seeing a lot of green.
Right. Well, from CORTIS red, and green to Korean athletes cashing in on success, I guess green really is the word of the week.
That's the color today.
Okay, Jason, thank you very much for those updates. Looking forward to next time.
Thank you.
And thank you, Bella, as always. We're going to have you back here later this week.
Yes, I'll see you soon.
Thanks for watching and your interest in everything K-culture. Please tune in again tomorrow, 2 p.m. Korea time. Keep diving.